Hello, this is Tom with the Tractor Rescue Ranch, working on this John Deere 4020 on the power takeoff not turning off. Anyway, I had to pull the floor pan off and this battery box over here and the battery out of it. Had to get all of that out of the way here. I've got the clutch pedal pulled off there and just starting to pull this whole housing off. So that's where we're at this point. I'll keep working here and show you what I find. Okay, I got that valve off of there, and this has been into before. Bunch of silicone. Oh, I think they used too much silicone. It's all over in those ports there, so I'm not sure what I'm going to find in the valve. Here's the inside of that valve, and the valve is going up and down with this shaft that turns it, but there's no spring action in there. I'm pretty sure there's a spring supposed to be in there from looking at the book, so we'll have to see what happens as far as getting it pulled apart, seeing if there's a broke spring in there or something, but that just goes up and down just easy. So I'll get that valve pulled out of there next. So that plug just comes out of the bottom of that, but I started pushing that valve out and look what's coming out with it. Big old glob of silicone. So I'm wondering if maybe the only problem is that one of the ports is plugged up with a gob of silicone from putting that together that way. Well, that rod goes down into the valve and the spring is inside of it, and it looks like the spring is there. So I'm not seeing anything real mechanically wrong, except for that big old dab of silicone that I pulled out, hoping that maybe that was what was it. I'll go ahead and get all this thing cleaned up really well and see if all of these ports are free. So I think I found the reason, or one of the reasons, this has been off in the past. So that piece there is what actuates the power takeoff linkage. Hooks on up here, and that is what actuates that valve, but that's evidently come apart in the past and somebody just took it apart and welded it instead of getting a new part. I was looking on the internet and they're available, and I don't remember it being very expensive, that piece. So since I'm going to get new gaskets anyway, I'm going to go ahead and order that part as well and replace it. So from here, there is a spacer plate. Right here is a spacer plate. There's a gasket that goes behind it and a gasket that goes on this side of it. And that goes on all this lower stuff. So I'm going to pull this whole thing apart. All this lower stuff I'm going to pull out and pull all that out. And you can see all that dang silicone all over in there. Going to pull it all apart, clean it up really well. I think with new gaskets, I don't even need to put silicone back on it. But I'm hoping that maybe I'm hoping there's not a plug with all that silicone between here and the power takeoff clutch. So anyway, I'll pull this apart and blow it all out and see what happens. Okay, got this bottom housing off, and dadgum, look at all that silicone. I sure hope that it's not going throughout the whole system. No reason for that silicone if you use new gaskets. Okay, I just thought I would do a quick recap here. It's always kind of disappointing when I don't find something obviously wrong, but I'm sure worried about that silicone going throughout the whole system there. I'm not sure what to do about that at this point, other than the fact that I'm going to clean this up really good, and I'll put new gaskets on it so we can eliminate all that dang silicone, and change the oil filters, drain the oil out of it, put clean oil in it, put it back together and give it a try. These valves here too, I'm going to pull them all apart completely inside and out, make sure they're all cleaned up really well, get it all spick and span before I put it back together. But that's where we stand with it. I was really thinking that I would find a mechanical problem, that valve wasn't going up and down, but it is. So still holding out a little hope that I'm not going to have to split this tractor. If I do, I guess it won't be the end of the world. It'll be a good winter project, but that's where we stand. And when I get things done and going back together, I'll do another video, and thanks for watching.